Sephiroth is in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which concludes all the Smash characters that we got in 2020. And 2021 will be the full last year where we have new Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC packs and fighters. So, Rogersbase, what do we expect after Sephiroth, a massive, probably the biggest and most iconic video game villain when it comes to personality and pure evils?
I mean, we're in a weird situation, right? I mean, if you would have told me at the beginning of 2020 that we were going to have Min Min, Steve from Minecraft, and Sephiroth, I probably would have laughed at you. I certainly was not expecting these three characters. I had mentioned back in April, I did a whole video about it, about why I thought that we might get another Final Fantasy VII character specifically, with the remake game coming out. You know, lots of possibilities for Mii Fighter outfits. Going into next year, like I know Don disagrees with me on this, but I don't know what else we're going to get. I feel like we've had everybody at this point, and I feel like Master Chief is probably a big one that I'm still kind of expecting to be the big blowout one since they've already worked with Microsoft. There's a lot of opportunities for cool Capcom characters still, so I could see, you know, Chun-Li or any number of things. Maybe Monster Hunter, to throw Monster Hunter in there to promote Monster Hunter Rise. Dante is another big one that's been heavily rumored. And then, I don't know, like another first-party character like a Pokemon or a Zelda character, and call it a day. I feel like I'm thrilled. What do you guys think?
I don't personally see Geno happening anymore, and here's why. First of all, I don't see another Square Enix-esque character because partially Nintendo happening anymore, especially now with Sephiroth being there. I think doing that is sort of overkill. And honestly, what I see the road forward as being is that likely the next character is, in all honesty, it could be something of Monster Hunter.
We had this discussion with Roger before, and you nailed it with Sephiroth. But you also brought up Master Chief, and the whole Microsoft, the culmination of the Microsoft Nintendo collab is literally putting Master Chief in Smash around the same time as Halo Infinite is coming out.
And Halo Infinite, to be fair, just got delayed to holiday of next year, which would also sort of go in line with when this final character would drop. I mean, we already have Banjo-Kazooie in the game, we already have Cuphead in the game, they now own Bethesda, so Vault Boy's in the game now, Minecraft is in the game. I mean, there's a lot of Microsoft-related stuff that's already here, and so they wouldn't need to add an additional trademark. You just throw Master Chief in, you're good to go. And they've shown now with the Fortnite collab that they're willing to do that. They're willing to throw Master Chief into things, so.
I just don't think Master Chief is happening. Like, it's the same case with Geno. Like, if you would ask me at the beginning of Fire Splash 2, are they happening? I said it would be a possibility. But now with Sephiroth and Minecraft Steve in place, I don't think that's necessarily happening.
I think the thing with Master Chief compared to somebody like Doom Guy, for example, though, is that, because I know I've seen a lot of people saying like, oh, Doom Guy would be cool to have in there, is Master Chief comes off to me like where they could create a reasonable character in Smash Bros without getting too violent. I think it's the whole thing with Snake as well, right? Snake isn't using like pistols. Snake is using CQC, he's using mines, he's using like more cartoony looking weapons. And I think that would sort of be the same thing with Chief, right? You get the Needler, get him riding on a Banshee, the energy sword. Like there's a lot of cartoony looking weapons and things that don't necessarily look like real life weapons that I think he could pull from, which is a big reason why I feel like they might choose him over somebody like Doom Guy.
I don't think Doom Guy is happening either.
No, yeah. But I think if you look at the breakdown, right, there's like brawler characters, gunner characters, and sword characters, if you want to look at it like that. We have Hero, Byleth, Sephiroth, sword fighters. You've got characters like Terry and Banjo that are more brawlers. The one major thing missing from all of this, the only real argument you can make is kind of like Joker, and maybe, if you're talking about like disjointed hitboxes, kind of Min-Min, is we don't have a gunner character.
In Fighter Pass 2, we've had no gunner character at all. I would even say before Smash Ultimate came out, pretty much all the newcomers, they were not gun characters, because gun characters are kind of controversial, obviously, because of the whole gun aspect. But Donnie, or Monster Maze, which character do you think, because you have a lot of experience as a pro Smash player with the gameplay side of things?
Well, like, if there's one thing I've learned over the years is that I will never ever again say that a character cannot happen because gameplay restrictions, but because they always manage to make something work, like with Steve, like how many people had a moveset laid out for him. I always thought Steve wasn't happening because the games are just simply not suitable, and here we are. So, like, if I had to choose for myself, I think some characters that are missing, in my opinion, would be like the more Banjo Banjo-Kazooie type brawler characters. I would like to see more of those, like characters akin to Rayman or Crash Bandicoot.
I'm gonna say potentially something that some people might not like to hear. So I mentioned 2 other characters. Here is my bet for that third character. It's a Pokemon from Sword and Shield.
Oh yeah, that's likely, I think, too. Like an Urshifu or Rillaboom or something.
Now that I think about it, like that third slot is likely gonna be a Pokemon.
Yeah, also, the more you think about it, too, right, is we don't really have any Sword and Shield music in the game. Sword and Shield was huge. There's an obvious choice for a stage as you do the wild area with Dynamaxing Pokemon in the background. I mean, that's like a no-brainer. Yeah, you might be onto something. Maybe a Pokemon's one of the final 3.
Especially considering that we didn't have a Pokemon representative in the first DLC pack as well, so far.
We also can't forget that Pokemon is turning 25 years old this coming year, which makes it a perfect reason to reveal another Pokemon inclusion. That is why it could actually be the next reveal, because the Pokemon anniversary is February, or is it in March?
But here's the thing. I still think that the next likely scenario is a Monster Hunter character.
Yeah, I agree. I actually, though, when you say that, and I'm picturing it in my head, Monster Hunter in March, Pokemon like mid next year, and then Master Chief at the ending would be a pretty solid 3 that I don't think most people would disagree with. Yeah, that would actually be pretty perfect.
I just don't see Master Chief particularly happening with the amount of Microsoft already in Smash.
Who do you think would be the final character then? Because in my brain, right, the way that they've set everything up, you've got Steve from Minecraft, you've got Sephiroth. I mean, these are like major characters. I don't think they can do what they did previously where they had Byleth as the ending of the first pass. I don't think they're going to make the same mistake again. I think they'll want to sort of have a major closer at the ending. I guess the only other thing really beyond like the Pokemon in terms of a first party thing though, and I think this is probably where Conrad was going to go, is Breath of the Wild 2, Zelda's big anniversary. Like a Zelda character would make sense next year as well.
There's only one character that makes sense from Zelda, and that is Impa. Impa has been with us pretty much since the first Zelda game, and that is also why she would be perfect for the 35th anniversary of the franchise. Just show the evolution of Impas from Zelda 1 all the way to the young Impa we got in Age of Calamity, and then you also have kind of your Koei Tecmo rep.
Yeah, if they utilize her moveset from Age of Calamity, they could do that.
I think it definitely has to be one of those types of characters, because I don't think they will be able to add a champion, because everybody has a different favorite, and you cannot add all four of them unless they're like alts, but that's pretty much impossible.
I have to say, we're long overdue for a new rep for Zelda, obviously, and if we can all agree, it's probably going to be Impa. But I also want to bring up one thing, because I think that they are trying to balance out the last 3 entries.
The other thing too is it is important to look at Mii Fighter costumes that haven't been in the game yet, and one of the only ones still missing from Smash 4 is that Rathalos armor, and my guess is that if we get a Monster Hunter during whatever the Sakurai Presents presentation is going to be, we're going to get back that Rathalos armor for the Mii. Sakurai going all out, and that is a franchise that has such a storied history, especially in Japan. And yes, Rathalos is already in the game as a boss. Yeah, we've got the Rathalos battle stage, but I think they would get a whole nother stage.
Yeah, and also we have to also pretty much realize that Square Enix in Smash has had a pretty dang good over the last couple of years, because they were literally Cloud was literally one of the last DLC characters in Smash 4. He immediately came back with Smash Ultimate. Then in the first DLC pack they had Hero, and now they had Sephiroth. I think they the ship for more Square Enix representation has also kind of sailed beyond first day's Mii costumes.
I would like to start summarizing a little bit in terms of what we can disclose already in terms of characters. We're not going to get more Square Enix characters. They have already provided more than Square Enix is comfortable with. They brought back Cloud, they put in Hero, and now they are adding in the absolute ultimate villain of Square, Sephiroth, who they have brought to so many other games of their own. It's the villain that has just been going on through all kinds of media, literally games and manga, movies, and so on. But when it comes to villain characters, I also think that ship is maybe gone now, because we have 3 more entries, and I think that Sephiroth was the villain inclusion we would get this time around.
Well, curiously, what other villains were people thinking of? Like, I don't even know who else, in terms of villain characters, people would put in. Because I don't think any character we've brought up on this entire discussion has been a villain.
Well, the thing is, they had this whole theme of heroes and villains before, but they kind of stopped doing that. And even with Sephiroth, they didn't really do that classic thing where you see all the villains, you know, that art, like moving still art that they do. That was kind of like their indication that it was going to be all about villains. But I think they stopped doing that after K. Rool, I think.
I mean, the only other one I'm thinking of that's like an iconic villain that would maybe be missing is Eggman, like from Sonic.
The more you talk about villains, the more I think Sephiroth is it. Like, you can't top Sephiroth in terms of villain quality. The whole background, how interconnected and intertwined he is with Cloud. Obviously not going into spoilers of Final Fantasy VII because of the remake, but obviously these two characters are... I can't think of a hero and a villain that are that intertwined in video games as Cloud and Sephiroth.
Literally, it's Sonic and Dr. Eggman. That's the last one. There's nobody else.
When we think about the background, there's no way. Like, Cloud and Sephiroth are just... They're literally one and the same. You can't have one without the other. It's as simple as that.
But that's why I think my bets that I made earlier are pretty safe with it being a Monster Hunter, a Koei Tecmo character, and a Pokemon.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, because in general, what else could they really add to the popularity of Smash at this point?
Like I said, Master Chief, that would you'd bring a whole bunch of people in, he'd be the gunner, you'd get, I think that would be the kind of thing that would break the internet.
Exactly.
But my problem is with it, Master Chief has zero connection to Nintendo. And I know they did it with Final Fantasy VII, but that's such a special case in this specific world that I don't think that Master Chief can be an exception to that specific role.
I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if they brought Master Chief Collection to Switch.
Well, like we talked about before, one of those like historical platformer characters like Crash and Rayman, I could definitely see one of those happening. Crash probably more than Rayman, because Rayman hasn't been that relevant as of late.
To be fair, the Good Vibes Gaming guys did a whole thing about how Crash Bandicoot was probably going to be the next character, and they gave some pretty good points for that. So I'm wondering if maybe Crash is going to be one of the three. I think Crash would be, at least for Western audiences, a big break the internet kind of moment.
Yeah, it's about time. It's coming out to the Switch likely next year as well. That could be a reason why they are waiting with Crash.
Well, Crash, I think, could still be included in the game, though, even if he's not a playable fighter, because I think he has the perfect opportunity to be a Mii costume. Is you could do the classic Crash mascot, and you could make like the mascot outfit that's in all the commercials, an outfit for one of the Miis, and I think that'd be really cute.
But I think we're moving into a different kind of territory, which is going to be the next video. If you haven't already, then be sure to press that like button, subscribe to all our channels, Commonwealth Realm, Rogersbase, Nintendaan and Monster Maze, and we'll see you in the next video, which I'm not going to reveal obviously, but you will be coming out next on the channel, and we'll be obviously in that video be referencing this video, so be sure to check those out. Thank you so much for joining me, Rogersbase and Nintendaan plus Monster Maze, and we'll see you in that next one.